JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, alleged violence influencer shot dead in confrontation with police. A man was shot and killed during an alleged confrontation with the police on Park Lane off Red Hills Road, St. Andrew last night. The Good Friday incident occurred about 9:30 p.m. The man said to be an influencer was killed and the firearm recovered. The Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom has been notified and has started a probe. Residents who spoke said loud explosions were heard, and initially they thought the community was under attack. Because the place tense, we think a man coming but a police and bad man in a things, said one man. On April 5, two men, 40-year-old Patrick Thompson, otherwise called Indian, and Ewan Green, otherwise called Gunner, were killed in Park Lane. The reports then pointed to an internal feud. Motorcyclist hospitalized following gun attack in St. Thomas. A St. Thomas motorcyclist is now nursing gunshot wounds in hospital after coming under attack yesterday. It is reported that shortly before midday, the man was riding along the Pondside Main Road in Yallis when it is believed that a vehicle drove up behind him. It is further reported that the occupants then opened gunfire, hitting him several times. The police were called, and the injured man was rushed to the Princess Margaret Hospital, where he is admitted in critical condition. Investigators from the Yallis police recovered 6 pen shells at the scene. 3 wanted men among 49 arrested in St. James. 3 wanted men were among 49 persons arrested by the St. James police in a recent 14-day surge operation across the parish, and several stopped with charges, including murder, shooting, and rape. We saw an increase in serious crimes over the past 2 weeks, and our response was in the form of a surge operation, Senior Superintendent Vernon Ellis, who heads the St. James Police Division, said yesterday. The operation, which took place between March 29 and April 12, was supported by various arms of the police force and the Jamaica Defense Force. The 3 wanted men, 32-year-old shop owner Karen Fox Johnson, 25-year-old farmer O'Shane Poyser, and 35-year-old swimming instructor Kenya Darren Robinson, turned themselves in on March 30 as the operation intensified, Ellis said. Johnson, who is of Bogue, St. James, and the Spanish town St. Catherine addresses, has been charged with the February 28 murder of Cadine Graham in Anchovy, St. James. Poyser, of Kensington in Welcome Hall, St. James, was charged with the May 28, 2021 murder of Marvin Clayton, who was killed along William Street in Montego Bay, while Robinson is charged with the March 10 murder of Christoph Hibbert along the Jimmy Cliff Boulevard in Montego Bay. 30 other persons were also charged with various offenses. 12 were booked for shooting, 7 for murder, 6 for rape, 4 for robbery, and 1 for burglary. 3 illegal firearms and 64 rounds of ammunition were also seized. Ellis credited the success of the police operation to several factors, including collaborations with the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce and Industry and members of the wider St. James community. I want to thank our citizens for their support, and most of all, the MBCCI, for always standing there with us, the law enforcement team, in the collective security effort to make this parish a safer place, said Ellis. St. James has recorded 71 murders between January 1 and April 9 this year, a substantial increase from the 49 murders seen over the corresponding period in 2021. MBCCI President Janet Silvero noted the impact of the Chamber's recent security summit, which examined the crime situation in the parish. Obviously, when we come together as a city, we achieve successes that can be long-lasting and sustainable. Our collective security summit that we had recently has literally served as an empowerment to several facets of the city. And because it is not just a one-time thing, but one that we plan to ensure is sustainable, we know that it will have impact and it will encourage others to become involved in crime fighting in the city of Montego Bay and the parish of St. James, said Silvero. People have realized that the security forces cannot do it alone, and the Minister of National Security cannot do it alone. Neither can a Commissioner of Police. Until we come together and unite as a nation, then we will not be able to fight that monster that is called crime, she added. Cash and iron liquor stolen during armed robbery at Hanover Mini Mart. Police are searching for 2 men who robbed $250,000, plus several iron liquor from a mini mart in Orange Bay, Hanover on Friday. The men reportedly pulled guns on the woman who was operating the business before robbing her. One policeman was thankful that the businesswoman, who was the only person in the establishment at the time of the robbery, was not hurt. With what we see happening island-wide, with people being robbed and shot, thankfully no blood was shed. They took what they wanted and left, the policeman said. It is reported that about 11:40 a.m., the businesswoman was at the mini-mart when two men entered the establishment. The men brandished guns and robbed her of $250,000 and a bottle each of Bel Air, JB rum, and Bailey's Irish cream. Police said the men made their escape on a motorcycle. Kingston man facing gun charges after shooting at woman. 23-year-old Nikolai Waldron of Maxfield Avenue, Kingston, was charged with shooting with intent, illegal possession of firearm and ammunition, after allegedly shooting at a woman in the community on Wednesday, January 19, 2022. Reports from the Denham Town Police are that about 3:30 p.m., the complainant was walking along Gem Crescent in the parish when she was attacked by Waldron, who opened gunfire in her direction. She managed to escape unhurt. A report was made to the police and an investigation launched. Waldron was subsequently arrested and charged during an operation on Friday, April 15. 29-year-old charged after gun seizure in St. Andrew. Odori Johnson, a 29-year-old resident of Red Hills Road, St. Andrew, is facing charges in relation to a gun that was seized on Red Hills Road on Friday, April 15. Reports are that about 5:30 a.m., lawmen were on operation in the area when they were fired upon by unknown assailants. The gunfire was returned, and after the shooting subsided, Johnson, who was injured, was found with a .40 Smith & Wesson pistol, along with 4.40 rounds of ammunition. He was transported to a hospital where he was treated and released in the custody of the police. Man who killed his friend over a bicycle to serve life sentence. He was 13 years old when he stabbed and killed his 15-year-old best friend during an altercation over a bicycle. When he was eventually tried, convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment at hard labor for that murder, he was 20 years old. Last Friday, he lost an appeal against his sentence after the appeal court found that the sentencing judge at the time could not be faulted for imposing that prison term, and that the sentence of life imprisonment with the stipulation that he serves 15 years before being eligible for parole was not manifestly excessive, as argued by his attorney. As such, the now 25-year-old will still have to serve the time specified. According to the evidence led during the trial, on December 6, 2009, the convict and the other teen were engaged in an altercation over a bicycle when the stabbing took place. The other teen later died. The convict claimed that he acted in self-defense and that he was provoked to act as he did. The prosecution's case, which rested largely on the evidence of one eyewitness, was that on the day in question the convict, without permission, rode away on a bicycle that the 15-year-old was using to make deliveries. When he returned with the bicycle, a quarrel developed between them. He was told to get off the bicycle but refused. He, however, dismounted after his friend had pushed him. The 15-year-old made another delivery before returning to the community, where the 13-year-old confronted him. In the fight, the 13-year-old, the court was told, pulled a knife from his waist. The 15-year-old escaped and armed himself with an ice pick. However, the eyewitness intervened, begged them to stop and throw the ice pick away. The 15-year-old, the court was told, then took up a knife, but was again appealed to by the eyewitness. He dropped the knife. The 15-year-old started walking away from the spot, but the 13-year-old followed him, reached around him, stabbed him in the chest, and fled. He was later caught by a man in the community and held until the police arrived. During the trial, the accused, in his defense, said the reverse had occurred and that his dead friend had been the aggressor. He also said the prosecution's eyewitness had lied and was not present at the time of the incident. He further said he did not intend to kill his friend when he stabbed him. On Friday, the appeal court, in analyzing the arguments posed by the defense, said, given the nature of this case, it cannot be said that the mandatory sentence is excessive, or it demonstrated that the learned judge applied the wrong principles, nor is the sentence so aberrant to merit this court's intervention. It further noted that the convict was an adult at the time of the trial and could not have been tried before a children's court for the offense, and as such was properly tried before and sentenced in the circuit court. Said the appeal court, the circuit court has the jurisdiction to sentence a child, but it cannot impose a death sentence on a child. Instead, the court may impose life imprisonment and specify the period the child should serve before become eligible for parole. In its conclusion and summary, the appeal court said, among other things, the learned judge properly directed the jury on the standard of proof in directing them that they must be sure of his guilt before they can convict him. Additionally, the learned judge's direction on provocation was clear and would not have confused the jury. The application for leave to appeal is refused. The sentence is to be reckoned as having commenced on 23rd February 2017. 35 new COVID-19 cases in Jamaica, 2 deaths reported. The Ministry of Health and Wellness reported 35 new COVID-19 cases and 2 deaths on Friday, April 15, bringing the infection total to 129,203 and total deaths to 2,926. The new cases comprise 23 females and 12 males, with ages ranging from 4 months to 63 years. The cases were recorded in St. James, 11, Kingston and St. Andrew, 7, St. Anne and St. Catherine, 4 each, Westmoreland and Clarendon, 3 each, Trelawney, 1, St. Elizabeth, 1, and Hanover, 1. The deceased are 2 73-year-old males from St. James, who died on September 2 and September 19, 2021. There were 90 recoveries in the last 24 hours, bringing the total to 82,455. Currently, 9 people are hospitalized, 1 of whom is critically ill. The Health Ministry reported a positivity rate of 5.2%. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.